I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. And we're here today with Nabilah Islam. And Nabilah is a candidate for Georgia Senate District 7.
Yes.
But outside of being a candidate for Georgia State Senate, Nabilah is a local here to Gwinnett County. She went to school here in Gwinnett. She has been involved in grassroots campaigns here in Gwinnett. And so we wanted Nabilah to talk a little bit about who she is, what is her why for, and what motivates her.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thank you for being here
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I've supported both of you when you ran. And
Thank you.
I think you both are wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me again on today's show. Like you said, I grew up in Gwinnett County. I'm the daughter of Bangladeshi immigrants. My dad came here in the 1970s. My mom came here in the 1980s. So I was actually born in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
were you a Grady baby?
That's what I was about to say.
I would have been a Grady baby, but my mom wanted a woman doctor, and there was all men.
Really?
So I was born at Crawford Long.
Okay. Okay.
Because my mom was like 21, right? She was
Okay.
like terrified. I was like, who's gonna look at me?
But it's amazing.
Because if you were going to say you were a North Side baby, I was about to say, ooh, you were bougie.
My brother was a Northside baby.
They were bougie by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was Crawford Long, and then when we moved to Gwinnett, because they were able to, save up money and build a home for themselves. And so my mom was working at, where was she working at? She was working at Hardee's at the time.
Wow.
Flipping burgers, and then my dad was working at the IRS. And it was actually, my mom had, they had put together $2,000, and they had given it to a developer in Norcross to build a house. And the guy took the money and ran away with it.
Really?
And then when my parents tried to take him to court, he filed bankruptcy. So they never saw that money again. So my mom
and $2,000, and you're working at Hardee's and the IRS. That's a lot of money.
My dad was a file clerk, so it was a lot of money. So they had to it was really hard for them, and they restarted, and they built. My mom is super determined, so and I get that.
I see
energy from her. But they built a home in Norcross, and so when I was about 7 months old, we moved to because they were living off of Beaufort Highway. Those apartments that are really immigrant heavy in that area, and then they moved to Norcross, and so I grew up there. I went to minor elementary until 2nd grade, and then my mom was like, okay, well, I want to move somewhere else. And so this is actually another story. My mom was looking at homes in Lawrenceville. So I grew up near Central Gwinnett, so that's where I ended up going to high school.
Okay.
And this is my mom's first time selling and buying a home. And her realtor didn't tell her that if she wanted to buy the home, or you had to put the sign out or say that this is the house I want. And so my mom found the house that she wanted, and the realtor told her, well, you need to make sure you sell your other home. So my mom sells the home. So the first day we put it on for sale, she sells it the first day.
Wow.
So the next day my mom goes, I sold my home, I want this home now. And the woman goes, well, I already signed it with another family. And my mom was like, what do you mean? The woman lied to her.
No.
And didn't tell her all the steps that she needed to do. And they ended up giving the home to a white family. And so my mom, being my mom, was like, I want this home so much that she, same neighborhood, went and found a developer and built that same house. But she kind of made it adjusted to
her own.
And so we had to sell. She gave the house away, and we had to move into an apartment for 3 months while the house was being built.
Wow. Now that's determination.
Right?
That's determination.
I went to that. We grew up there until I was 18, and then my mom moved again. But my mom and dad. And I grew up in Norcross and Lawrenceville, and
Our mom and dad still in Gwinnett?
they're still in Gwinnett. They live in Senator Nikki Merritt's district.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I had the pleasure of meeting them at your watch party.
oh,
So
My watch
very
party,
nice
y'all.
one.
I had a close primary. We won by 77 votes.
Wow.
So
That's nerve-wracking.
it was
It was
nerve-wracking.
very nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you were there. You knew. I was composed the entire time because you got to be, and but we were in the lead the whole time, and very grateful for all the people that chose me to be the nominee for this district, and so we've just been campaigning the last couple of months now.
You were doing double duty, so you were at hers and you were
Right. I was all over the place. I was at Karen's first, and then I left hers, and I drove all the way to yours, and I was like, oh man, I'm exhausted. Please don't have anybody else I gotta go to. But it was a lot of fun just to support you guys, because when you have good people actually doing the work for the people, that's who we want. You want folks who cares about our citizens and what's going on, like what you just said about what happened to your parents. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many people go through that right now today still? So we need people in office that can stop those types of things from happening.
Because there are people who prey on immigrant communities.
Oh, right. Definitely. And my parents were preyed upon a few times, or just they take advantage of the fact that you might not know everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so growing up, watching my parents have to struggle, and I had the opportunity to have a great public education, especially in Gwinnett County. Mm-hmm. We're known for a public school system. We have the largest one in the state. I was able to, I was able to read, do math. I went to did extracurricular activities. So I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college.
Okay.
So I went to Georgia State University, got a degree in marketing.
Now, let's back up a little bit, because I've heard you say that you put yourself through college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How'd you do that? Because as a young person, I was racked with student loans. Mm-hmm. How were you able to?
I still have student loans.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay. No, I still have student loans. Okay. Let me be clear now.
Okay.
So I still have. I was a Pell Grant recipient actually. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but I also worked. Okay. I worked at. So I paid for my books, my rent, and then my scholarships didn't kick in till my second year of college. Okay. So I worked through all 4 years. Mm-hmm. And so I was supplementing with student loans, Pell Grants, and with my own income that I got part-time. And so it was hard work, because my parents aren't independently wealthy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm not independently wealthy.
Right.
And so it's you still have to do a lot of work, and I'm thankful for the grants I was able to get in order to go through college, and I graduated with my marketing degree.
Okay.
But I worked at the Forum in Peachtree Corners.
Oh, okay.
So I worked at the morning luggage and gift store, making I think $9 an hour, selling luggage and pens and whatever they had us sell.
And that was what year?
Ooh, what was it? So I graduated. So that was 2008, 2009, 2011, 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But and then I also worked at Best Buy. I was at Geek Squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a geek? You a techie? You know how to do it?
Or were you following the script?
The script.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, okay.
They were like, oh, do you do it? I was like, diagnostics program? I click.
Right. I'm like, okay.
But my first job, though, it was in high school. Mm-hmm. It was working at the Ingalls right off of Sugarloaf in Johnson Road, not too far from here. Mm-hmm. And I was a cashier.
My first job was a cashier in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Winn-Dixie.
Really?
Yeah, in Florida.
Ooh. Well, they didn't give me a bagger, so which is fine, because I think that's a luxury looking back.
Uh-huh.
And I had to bag all my groceries, and I just remember being like, I had a neck cramp. I mean, it was
standing.
From standing. I think it was for bagging all the groceries. Yeah, and so
lifting them, putting them up in the cart.
Yeah,
I was fortunate. I didn't have to. That wasn't my first job.
What did you do?
My very first job. Well, I guess a child labor. I worked in a restaurant.
Child labor.
So my aunts worked in a soul food restaurant, and then in the summers I would go with her. And then I would get summer jobs, and I don't know if they do that down here, but we would get summer. I'm from Michigan, and we would get summer jobs. So I was like a police cadet, a fire cadet, and it was only during the summer hours. So it wasn't like
it was part of a youth employment program,
right?
Yeah, they don't do that here.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah, wow. And then I went into the military at 17. So that was like my first real job. So when I hear people work, I was a cashier. I was like, wow,
that was
and y'all start on y'all feet.
Yes.
That's labor intensive.
Yeah, 15 years old, because I forged my birth certificate so that I could get a job.
Wow.
And working at Winn-Dixie in Hollywood, and that is like, that is no joke. Being on your feet all day, like anybody who has to stand all day.
That's right. You have a lot
God
of
bless
respect.
them.
That's right.
I have so much respect, but that's because that was hard work. And when I started, so when I trained, we didn't have scanners. Scanners had just came in. So this was 85. Scanners were just coming in. So they actually sent us to cashiering school for a week. So when Dixie sent us to cashier training for a week, because we actually had to key in the numbers.
Oh my God.
And you had to count back change. And then after I started working at my local store, the scanners came in maybe like a couple of months after. When we first got the scanners, I actually remember I would dream about that damn boop.
That's how you can hear that sound. Boop, boop.
That's hilarious.
That's cute.
I digress. Enough of me. We're here to talk about
This is what we do with conversations with Karen Head. That's why we got started.
Oh, no.
Every show we always say, we digress.
Okay, before we get back, I tasted this mango. Y'all gotta have some. It's delicious, right?
No, I'm gonna have another piece. There you go. We're eating and talking.
Right.
That's what we do.
That's right. It is good. Yeah.
Because the idea for conversations with Karen and Kat is if we had gone out to dinner with you, like these are the conversations we would have around dinner or have around lunch or a cup of coffee.
Right.
You know, where you're telling us about yourself, we're telling you a little bit about our lives, and we're just learning more about each other. Because that's what friends do when they're having conversations. And so that's what it came out of. Like we formed a genuine friendship, meeting on the campaign trail, and we literally would talk for hours about everything and anything. Oftentimes about other candidates, but that's a joke.
Right, it is.
We never talked about anybody.
Right.
But so we just thought it would be great to have these conversations with like some of the people that we've met who are doing just dynamic things and who are out there like putting in the work.
Right.
You know, so that's our idea behind Conversations with Karen and Kat, is to talk to the people who are out there in the streets. So I know that you started a nonprofit. How long ago was that?
Actually no, it's not a nonprofit.
Okay.
It's just a small business consulting firm.
Oh.
So I help different organizations and candidates figure out their strategic plans and how to execute them to get to their goals, whether that's fundraising, whether that's like political, communications, and so I help build their teams.
So that's your day job.
Very important.
That is my day job, yeah.
Okay, what's the name of it?
It's thank you. I just blanked for a second.
It's the mango.
No, I was like NAI Consulting LLC. There you go.
Okay.
NAI Consulting LLC.
Got you.
And when did you start your business?
I opened it in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so right before the what pandemic?
Right.
That was my little attempt at slang, but anyway. So where did you see the need for starting the business?
So I've been working in politics for the last like 10 years now, and so I
But you look like you're 22, so how's that possible?
It's my genes from my parents. My parents look young.
Really?
Yeah, my dad's hair just started graying. He's like 65, 67. So I just know that when I get older, I'll be fine.
Right.
But I'm 32. So being a staffer on all these political campaigns and organizations, I realized that there was a crucial need for people, locally, especially where we live, for services that understood like fundraising on an expert level, or how to execute like an email program successfully, or how to connect A to B to C, and making sure that the goals that you're trying to achieve actually occur.
Okay.
And so I have been providing my services to different candidates, different organizations for the past couple of years.
Okay.
And so I've been helping them, raise money in order to reach their goals, whether they want to spend it on reaching out to voters or constituent services or what have you. And so I have found that to be very, people have been very appreciative. And another thing is, like, a lot of these consultants will take advantage of you
Oh,
because you don't know any better. And I'm just kind of like, I got into this
Definitely
work.
know that.
I got into this work because I wanted to help people like us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right. Mm-hmm.
And so my heart is like in it when I help someone. And so I don't like overcharge people.
That's right.
Like I'm just kind of like, you know, we'll figure it out as we go. And then like but it's still like, because there's a lot of price gouging. There are people that like consultants that will work for you that don't care about you. They just want a paycheck. I won't work for someone if I don't believe in them.
That's right.
And I'm like, because like,
I love that.
That's right.
I love that.
Very good.
but when you're younger, you don't get to pick your jobs necessarily.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, okay, well, I got that's a great opportunity. I'm gonna take it, and then you just find out like, oh, I didn't really, I didn't really like working for those people.
Right.
And so, what mainly pushed me into starting my own consulting firm is because I wanted to work with people that I believed in, because I wanted to help them succeed, because I knew that they could be great agents for change. And in order for our society to move forward, we need the right people in positions of power.
That's right. That's right. And thank you for that, because we need that, right? I definitely know personally and understand when you have folks that tell you one price and then you don't really get that. So that's very important, and thank you for doing that. That is hard work.
Yeah, and what I've found is when people hear that you're running for office, everybody has their hand out. Everyone wants you to provide some service for you. Everyone wants to, like, oh wow, no one's gonna volunteer.
Nope.
I'll canvas for you if you pay me $20 an hour.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of money, then people will work with you.
Yeah.
But when you're grassroots and you really don't have those resources, you may not have the capital to put, because that's a barrier for people to run.
Yes.
Right? If
Yes.
you have a job, a 9 to 5, you can't miss work and campaign. It's difficult to do. And most people who run either have their own business or they have some type of support where they can actually get out and run. So a lot of people put up their own money to start, but how do you get a consultant if you're already at zero, right? You have to raise money first to pay for that consultant. So, but if you have someone like you who's being honest and transparent and putting everything on the table, and then you let that person know, this is what I can do, this is a fair price, now you can work with someone, and now someone knows what they're getting, because you don't even know what a consultant does if you've never ran before.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Well, here's the thing. It's like I have a unique background. I'm familiar with how this works, just because these are the jobs that I chose after college. This is a career path I followed. But most people that run for office, they don't I don't blame them for not knowing the nuances of political campaigns or consultants or staffers or how to do these things. But that's why I stepped up, because I want to make sure that you have that guidance and you do it right from the beginning. Because in order to be successful, it's really hard if you don't have that foundation from the very beginning. And so that's what I try to help people with and provide, and so I get a lot of fulfillment from it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I know we were knocking on doors, and I was knocking on doors, and I'm giving my little speech, and I'm thinking I'm doing good, and the leader was like, okay, so let me show you something. You should do this, you should try this, you should try that. I'm like, oh, okay, and then it works, and that's what you need, because you don't know what you're doing. You know you want to be an agent for change, and you want to connect to people, but you just don't know how to go about it and what's the right thing to say without seeming fake, for lack of a better word, because you still want to be your genuine self, but you want to be able to convey the important facts in a short amount of time, because you only get, what do you want? Boom.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Could it be clear, concise, and
If
to
they
the
open
point.
the door.
Right.
Exactly. I know. What is it, like 3 people you talk to per hour or 4 people? Like, it's not. It is hard work, y'all. Right?
It is hard.
It is hard.
It is.
But it's the best way to have voter contact. So we knocked on close to 10,000 doors in my primary. And it was interesting because in the beginning, people would be like, oh, I think I know who she is. But most people in the beginning don't know who I am until we started our paid communications.
Right.
And then towards the end, they were like, yeah, I know that girl. I know who that is. It was just so interesting to see my name recognition just slowly rise in the next 3 months leading up to the election. And so, we're actually starting our canvassing program right after Labor Day.
Okay.
And we're going to go hard on the doors because I think it's important to meet people where they are.
That's right.
And we're going to knock on thousands of doors.
So now where is Senate District 7?
Correct.
So Senate District 7 is in West Gwinnett. So if you live in parts of Norcross, Peachtree Corners, Berkeley Lake, Duluth, Suwanee, and Lawrenceville. So I live in Lawrenceville.
Okay.
Okay. It's all of Lawrenceville?
No, it is
Okay.
not. It is. So I live 6 minutes from the Mall of Georgia.
Yes.
So it's like right outside the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a newly created seat, right?
This is a newly created seat, yes. So this was created right after redistricting, and what they did was Okay, so let me actually give you some context.
Okay.
So this seat includes parts of the current Senate District 48, the district that Michelle Au represents, and then a part of Clinton Dixon's district, Republican Clinton Dixon. And so what they did was they changed Senator Michelle Au's district, and so now Senate 48 doesn't have this part of Gwinnett. It's mostly like the Fulton area, Johns Creek area, and so they changed it in a way where it'd be harder for a Democrat to win that seat. And so it no longer includes these parts of Gwinnett where that's in Senate District 7. So they essentially gerrymandered her out of the seat.
I was just about to say that's gerrymandering, right?
Exactly. And the seat is, in a presidential year, it's a likely D seat, but it's going to be a competitive state Senate seat, and we're going to have to fight for it.
Okay.
And so that's why our campaign is knocking on thousands of doors. We're meeting with constituents every day, meeting with different organizations and partner groups to see how we can come together to get out the vote. Yes. Because it's not just me, it's also making sure that we re-elect Senator Raphael Warnock. That we defeat Kemp and elect Stacey Abrams as governor. Because many of the things that we're now seeing talked about that are going to be key issues that we're going to have to fight against is like, currently we have the 6-week abortion ban, right? But they're not stopping there. So a lot of the people that, supporters that these right to life groups that elected these Republicans are demanding that they ban abortion completely, like other states have. And so we're going to have to fight against these bad pieces of legislation. We're going to have to make sure that, our schools, our public schools are fully funded, and that we stop these bad bills that block teachers from teaching the way that they know how to teach, right? So instead of having a politician-led curriculum, we have a teacher-led curriculum.
Right.
Make sure we have smaller classroom sizes.
Yes.
So the way that obviously we progress forward is we get a new governor, right? And so then when I get to the state senate, I can vote on legislation, pass legislation, and that send it to her desk so she can sign it. But one of the main things that I am talking about is reproductive freedom. I mean, like taking this right-wing Supreme Court has now taken away our constitutional right to be able to choose what we do with our bodies, right? And so I am pro-choice, and I think that this decision should be between a woman and her doctor. It is a private matter. It's really hard, and I think this is truly government overreach, and. No matter what you believe or what your personal beliefs are, I think at the end of the day, women should have autonomy over their own bodies.
So once you are elected, which committees are you interested in sitting on in the Georgia Senate?
That's a great question. I need to really sit down and look at all the committees that I think that I want to be on. So, I know anything that has to do with healthcare. So, education. And I would say anything that touches voting rights.
Okay. I knew he was going to say voting rights. So
I would say those three. But if it depends though who's the lieutenant governor or who's the Senate board leader.
Because
they control who gets like committee assignments. So I mean I could have my wish list but get the bottom three. So,
right.
But no, I intend to go there and be effective and make sure that I'm reading every piece of legislation, because Republicans will sneak in something and we won't even know about it because you didn't even bill.
Please read the bills, because there's nothing worse than a politician being asked a question about a bill that they voted on, and they say, well, I didn't read it.
No, it's embarrassing.
It is.
That That drives me bonkers.
And speaking of that, could you please just take a few seconds to explain to our viewers what your role will do for the citizens? Like people, what I found, and understanding city council, mayors, commissioners, so forth. So please explain the difference and what your role will do for the citizens.
Oh, absolutely. So as a state senator, I'll be given the responsibility to be able to vote for legislation such as expanding Medicaid, making sure that close to 500,000 people are able to get the health care that they need, making sure that the biggest budget that we have in the overall Georgia State budget is our education budget, and making sure that that is being fully funded, that our teachers are getting paid like the professionals that they are, and that we also make sure that we have smaller classroom sizes. I'll be voting on legislation that will affect, I want to, when I get there, I will propose legislation that will make it easier for people to vote. So it's our constitutional right to be able to vote, and we should be making it easier, not harder.
That's right.
We need to repeal these bad laws like SB 202 that have made it harder for people to vote. And so these are some of the topics that I'll be touching on while I'm down at the state senate. But also, I want to make sure that I'm a liaison to our community. That I'm not just going to Capitol, and you're never going to see me, and I'm just voting there.
Right.
And I'm going to be a hands-on legislator. And one of my priorities is to make sure that I have a district office, so that constituents year-round can come visit there and talk to a staffer that I'll have full-time to make sure that their needs are being met. Because honestly, yes, it's a 40-day session, and I'm a part-time legislator, but it's a full-time job.
Yes.
Correct.
And people deserve full-time services.
Correct.
And so I'm going to make sure that what resources are available. One thing I realized, I'm on a board for the county, and there are so many resources that I had no idea about.
And people don't know about it.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. It's too much out there.
There's too much out there, and there are people that could be that would heavily benefit from this, and I'm just aghast that we are not connecting people to these. Like, why have these resources if you're not going to connect people to them? And so I want to make sure that I close that information gap by making sure I communicate to my constituents.
That's important.
What is available to them, when it's available, how do you receive it, making sure that they are made aware at all times. Because I know there's many of us that just sometimes we don't know what's happening until we see it on the news.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, you elected me, I should be telling you.
That's right. So speaking of which, tell people how they can contact you right now.
Sure. So my campaign website is NabilahIslam.com. That's NabilahIslam.com. And you can find me on Twitter too. It's at Nabilah Islam. I'm on Instagram, Nabilah.a.islam, and my Facebook is at facebook.com/Nabilah Islam as well.
Yeah. And so, are there any other Bangladeshis in that?
There's one. There's Sheikh Rahman.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
He's the first, I'm going to say first Democratic Asian man elected to state senate, and first Muslim person ever elected. So when I'm elected, I'll be the first Muslim woman.
Wait,
Get out of here.
Statewide, he's the first Muslim to be elected?
Yes. He made history when he got elected.
I didn't know that.
In the state legislature, yeah.
And what year was this?
He got elected with 2018, I want to say.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
I'm
so embarrassed.
Why?
Because 2018, and he's the first Muslim to ever be elected in the state of Georgia?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed as a citizen of Georgia.
Yes, no, trust me. But here's the thing: for so long, our communities felt like it was out of reach to get elected to office because of the Islamophobia and the xenophobia. So he's the first person in the state legislature to be as a Muslim to be elected, and I would be the first Muslim woman when I'm elected, and I'd be the first South Asian woman ever. To be elected to the state legislature, and the youngest woman in the state senate elected ever in Georgia's history.
Is it not Park Canyon?
She's on the House.
Oh, your Senate. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Get out of here. 2 young ladies.
Two young ladies.
women.
2 young progressive
All right,
ladies.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I'm excited to represent
That's
the community.
exciting.
It is very exciting.
That's exciting. I love when people are first. And something we were talking about, I'm hoping that by the time my young people, my kids, are having these conversations, that they're not talking to anybody that's a first.
Right.
That all the firsts have already had.
It's all about blazing a path
Yes.
for people to follow, right?
Yes.
To come after you, and so that, look, I know I stand on the shoulders of great people,
That's right.
and I want to make it easier for people that come after me.
That's right.
And that's what this is. This is not about me. This is about we, right? And I'm all about building that pipeline.
Creating access for everyone.
Yes.
To have opportunities for all people to rise and thrive.
Yes.
You know, that's very important.
So, Nabilah, you're a business owner. You're running a campaign. You're out in these streets.
Manage big campaigns.
Yes, we didn't talk about that. Usually, Kat asks this question, but what do you do for your self-care to make sure that you're keeping yourself grounded and that you are taking care of yourself?
Y'all, we were 70 days out. The last person I think about is myself, but I've been trying. I'm like, Nabilah, you gotta take care of yourself.
If it's nothing but 30 minutes a day.
You know, every morning I just take some time to myself.
Okay.
Just like some quiet space. I just get prepared for the day. I'm like, I know it's about to be a crazy day. Just like brace yourself. But like I just remind myself why I'm doing this, what my priorities are. 'Cause some days are hard.
Yes.
I just put one foot in front of the other. But it's all about centering yourself and reminding yourself why it's so necessary that we got to work hard to cross that finish line and make sure that we have the representation that we deserve. Because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
If we're not on the table, we're on the menu.
And who was it that said? Was it Fannie Lou Hamer that says if there's not
Shirley
a seat,
Chisholm.
Shirley Chisholm, if there's no seat at the table, bring your own chair. Yeah, bring your own chair.
Yeah,
So it is time we have more representation.
that's right.
I love it.
And thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat,
Thank you.
where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.